A lot of new real estate investors and wholesalers start cold calling, but they don't get any deals. And a big reason for this is a poor cold calling script. In today's video, I'm going to be acting out the dialogue in my exact cold calling script to teach you how to cold call effectively. If you are new to the channel, my name is Justin Yaron. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur here in Las Vegas. I have made hundreds of videos teaching people about real estate, and the goal of this channel is to help you grow your money and mindset. Also, if you want to see more personal content, follow me on Instagram at Justin Yaron. There is a lot of teaching in this video, so we will only be walking through half of the script today so that I can fully teach you in depth about the script and why we say certain things. Before I get into the dialogue of the script, I want you to understand the purpose of cold calling. The main purpose is to get deals, and when you're cold calling specifically, your main purpose is to figure out if you are speaking to a motivated seller. But now I'll be role playing with myself, acting as both the cold caller and the homeowner. Hey John. Hello? Who's this? It's Justin. Probably caught you at a bad time. No, this is a good time, but what's this about? I don't know if you can help me, but I've been trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street. Yeah, that's me. What's wrong? You're probably not interested in selling it. A couple things I quickly want to touch on from that introduction. This is exactly how my virtual assistants and interns cold call. They use this exact script and exact opening. Here's why. The first thing I want to note is I called the seller by their first name. I said, hey John. I didn't say, hello Mr. Smith, hey Mr. Lee, whatever name. I did not say, hey Mr. Lee, hey Mr. Smith. I didn't say anything like that because it's not personal. Anytime you use someone's last name or say John Smith, instead of just saying, hey John, it sounds so extremely formal that there's a big disconnect, and it doesn't serve you well when you are trying to build rapport. I always teach to call sellers by their first name and to say it in a very friendly tone, as if you were talking to an actual friend. Like if my friend's name was John, I would call him and go, hey John. It would be a very friendly tone, and I use the same approach with these sellers. Also, if you give an intro like that, just saying, hey John, it piques interest in that seller. They will immediately begin to think, oh, maybe I know this person. And when a person feels like the other person knows them, they will stick around a little bit longer. The other thing I did was that I did not say my last name intentionally. I just said, hey, this is Justin, because it's very informal and I don't want it to appear like I'm a salesperson, because that's what salespeople do. They'll say, hey, this is Justin Yaron. I'm a real estate investor with this group. We do this, whatever. That's what salespeople do. You don't want to appear as a salesperson to someone that you're cold calling. Another thing that I did intentionally was make assumptions out loud. So you may have noticed that in the very beginning, I didn't ask the question, hey, is this a good time for you? Because from there, it becomes a yes or no answer. Instead, I stated, probably caught you at a bad time, with a downward sad inflection. And I did this for two reasons. Number one is that people like to be correct. So if you assume out loud and you say something that you know might be wrong, but you say it out loud, people like to be correct, so they will correct you. So if it is a good time for them and you say to them, probably catch you at a bad time, they are going to immediately want to correct you and say, no, this is a good time. Like I'm actually just got off work. I just did this, whatever. They'll tell you and they'll give more reasonings so that you know it's a good time. Reason number two this works is because of my inflection. I took more of a sad approach with a downward inflection on my voice, and I said it that particular way because people naturally like to help people in need. And I know these are such little things, but I promise you all the little things add up over time. But from there, I immediately told the seller why I was speaking to him. I said, hey, I was trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street. I let him kind of confirm if he was the owner or not. And then I assumed out loud again, saying, you're probably not interested in selling it. And I stated this assumption out loud instead of me asking, do you want to sell your home? And it's for the same exact reasons, because whether he wanted to sell his home or not, if he did want to sell his home, he would immediately correct you and say, hey, like, no, I'm actually pretty interested in selling. Now, once you make that statement of you're probably not interested in selling it, you are going to get 5 different types of responses. The first response is no, or it will be a version of that answer. So it might even be a never call me again, or a no, F off. And as hard as it might be to hear, this will be your most common response. And just know that when you get no responses, it's a good thing. Every no means you are one step closer to getting that yes. And you don't need that very many yeses to make a lot of money in this business. 99% of the offers you make and the phone calls you have, you are going to be rejected. Get used to it. You have to develop thick skin. And when a homeowner says no, say something like this. Okay, do you know anyone you can introduce me to that wants to sell, or know of any other vacant houses in the area? And the reason why we ask this is because you can turn a no into a potential yes down the road. You will be shocked at how many different conversations I've had with sellers when they initially say no and I ask that question, where they actually have another house that they want to sell, or they know someone else who wants to sell, or they can point me in the right direction of saying, hey, there's this house in the neighborhood that's really bringing down the value of the neighborhood. I don't really like it, beat up. Like, maybe you can buy that one. You don't know how many conversations I've had like that just because I've asked that question. So that's response number one that you will get when you say, probably not interested in selling it. The second response that you will get sounds something like this. Well, I might consider, or maybe, or they'll say something like, sure, I guess maybe. And whenever the homeowner says something like that, and it's pretty vague, just get clarification. So your response to that would be something like, when you say maybe, what does that mean? This is simply you trying to bring clarity to what the seller is truly thinking. Because in order to understand what they are thinking, you have to ask the right questions. You have to be able to ask these open-ended questions where the answers that they give don't end up being a yes or a no. The third response you'll get is, well, you called me, make me an offer. Or they'll say, well, how much are you paying? For the right offer. Or they will even give you the exact dollar amount. I want $200,000. Now, if the homeowner says something like that about the pricing and it's very direct, you can say something like this. I don't know what I can offer yet. I'm just calling you first to see if you're even interested in selling the property. And the reason why we say this is because it directs the homeowner away from the price. Because in their mind, they're immediately thinking, well, just the price, the price, the price. Because in reality, price is not the only thing that matters. You as the real estate investor or wholesaler are there to solve the problem that the homeowner has. Maybe they need to sell quickly because of a foreclosure, so timeline matters to them. Maybe they just don't want to deal with the hassle of their tenant anymore. For the actual deals that you find, they are only deals because the homeowner has a big problem that you need to solve. So one, it shifts the seller from just looking at the price. And two, it's a very open-ended statement. You're saying, hey, I don't even know what we can offer yet. Just wanted to see if you're interested in selling the property. And you don't say anything else. You just kind of let them speak because you want to hear what they have to say. If you are doing this correctly, the homeowner will be the one to speak maybe 90% of the conversation, and you will be speaking the other 10%, just asking questions every so often. The fourth response that you will get from a homeowner is this. Well, I might sell just depending on the price that you pay. Well, what can you do for me? Or they will flat out say, yeah, actually, I want to sell. And your response to these kinds of phrases are this. That's not unusual. What were you hoping for? And we ask this question because we want to get the price out of the seller first. Usually in negotiations, the person who gives up their number first loses. And I say loses very lightly because a good negotiation means that no one loses. And the fifth and last response that a seller will give you is this. Well, I want the highest price possible. I don't know, I'm pretty good with market value. I want the most I could possibly get. This is also a pretty common response when you say the words, you're probably not interested in selling it. Here's what you respond as the cold caller. I understand. It sounds like you'd only consider selling if you got the highest price possible. Or if they said market value, you can say something like, I understand. It sounds like you'd only consider selling if you got market value. When you respond with that, the homeowner will respond with one of these two things. Yeah, of course I want market value. Why would anyone sell for less? Or they will say the opposite. I mean, no, that's not the only reason why I'd sell. They will say one of those two things, or at least a variation of them. And if the homeowner says, yes, market value is the only way I will sell, or only if I get the highest price possible, here's what I would say back. That's fair. I'll be upfront with you. We don't buy properties for cash at market value, but I can do one of two things. I can have one of our listing agents give you a call and list the home for you so that you can get the price that you want, or we can discuss other possible options for us to buy it at the price that you want. All I am doing here is pushing the homeowner in the direction that they would prefer to work in, and I'm trying to figure that out. So if they actually wanted a realtor and they want to list their home and they have no immediate need to sell, like there's no need to sell, maybe they just want to sell, then the homeowner will likely tell me, they'll probably tell me, yeah, give me the realtor. I'd love to talk to the realtor and list the home. They'll say something like that. But if they have an immediate need to sell the property now, they still might consider our other option to buy it at market value, but under seller financing. You as the investor should be pointing the seller in the direction that best serves them. We're here to help people and solve people's problems. And even if this prospect did not work out as an investment deal, you can still refer it out to a realtor. The important thing is that we disqualified them very early on. You don't want to waste hours on the phone speaking to someone who doesn't actually want to sell at a discounted price. That's why I said at the very beginning, we are trying to disqualify people as soon as possible so that we can focus on the people who are actually interested in selling at the discount. Now back to the responses. If the seller says something like, no, market value is not the only reason why we would want to sell, you can say something like this. Great. Mind if I share with you how we work just to see if it even makes sense for us to keep talking? And all we are doing here is trying to get permission from them to continue. Also, if you want to grow your real estate business, whether you are brand new or if you already have deals under your belt, DM me the word coach on Instagram at JustinYou'reWrong. See you at the next one.